Hello everyone, so I'm actually in a lecture theatre. One of the doors is locked, but they didn't leave the other one locked, so how long it is until I get kicked out, so I need you to stay with me. Today I wanted to do a special video, that's why I kind of wanted to do it in a nice background. 5 ways to make friends at uni. When I first came to uni, I was so excited. I remember going on YouTube and I was watching like all these videos like advice for uni, what to do at uni, what you need for uni. I didn't really want to, it wasn't that I necessarily needed knowledge, I was just like really excited to do it, and I was just like thinking about uni all the time in the summer before uni. I didn't have much to do, so I was just thinking about uni and just like looking forward to it, right? And what I noticed is a lot of the videos with regards to like how to make friends at uni, they kind of gave the same advice, and although it's good advice, it needs to be elaborated a bit more because the advice in and of itself isn't comprehensive and applicable to most students. So it's a bit like, you know, when we were studying for GCSEs and they'd say like, oh, as a revision tip, like do exam questions rather than take notes. Like, yeah, I know that I'm doing exam questions and I'm still getting terrible grades. So it just needs a bit more explaining. So what they'll do is they'll say like, oh, join societies. It's like, yeah, join societies, but you need a bit more elaboration, a bit more, you need a bit more than that. That's not much to go on. So the first piece of advice is actually join a society. Now, this might sound a bit obvious, but knowing about something and actually doing it are two different things. You'd be surprised the amount of people who I know, first year they didn't go to societies, second year they didn't go to societies. And I know some people in the third year they didn't go to society, and it's only like in the last few months of third year that they've actually like started to go into societies because they know that their university is going to end soon. So, and I think the reason for this is a number of things, but number one, a reason could be is because like when you go in, you're overwhelmed by everything. You think, wow, this is amazing. You go to the open fair, you're so excited, and you think you're gonna join everything. But it's like, you know, when you're on Netflix and you like everything and you keep scrolling through it, it's like spoiled for choice. You're on Netflix and you're looking for things to watch, but most of the time you end up watching the thing you've already watched anyway, or like you end up just like going through Netflix and you don't actually end up watching something. You spend more time scrolling, if you like, than actually committing to one movie. It's a bit of the same thing with societies. I think a lot of the times, like I had a friend, I was like to him, oh, okay, so how many societies, so which of the societies you're going to go to when we went into second year to go to the fair? And he said, I'm going to all of them. 2 months later, I asked him, he said he went to none of them. There's other reasons as well. A lot of the times when you go to the open fair, people, a lot of information gets thrown around. So you're speaking to people, you're very excited. You're also doing 100 different things at the same time. Like you're meeting new people, you're out with your friends, you're having fun, you're interested by the university. And like people, like they throw this information at you like, oh, we have our taster event, which is what they call like the societies that start. We have our taster event on this time, Wednesday, 12 to 6. And people aren't like professional about it. Like they just like, if it was like a meeting, right, you'd write it down and you'd make sure you remember it. But a lot of the times you kind of think, okay, yeah, Wednesday, 1 to 2, okay, yeah, and you kind of like take a mental note. But the thing is, when you go around to all the different societies and they all give you their times, like you're gonna start forgetting things, and most of the time, like they're all on the same day. So like in your head, you're just thinking, oh, it's all on Wednesday, so it's fine, like I'll remember. But as soon as you leave, you're often gonna forget it. And then if you put a degree of difficulty between you and doing something, it's gonna be a lot harder to do it. And then if you don't go to the taster session, you're less likely to go to the next couple of events. So and very quickly, you're in first week of uni, second week of uni, and things start getting busy. And oftentimes if you don't make a proactive effort to go to a society in like the first week of uni, it's likely, I mean, I'm glad, I want someone to prove me wrong, but it's likely that you won't get a chance to go to society any other time of the year. Because think about it, that first week is the week you're going to be least busy. When you get into like a few weeks in, you're already going to have coursework. December time, you're going to have exams. And then when you get to the end of the year, you're going to think, oh, I'm already at the end of the year. Like there's no point, right? So actually join a society. So here's one thing I want you to do. If you're a fresher or you're a second year, third year, whatever, and you're going to the open fair, I want you to do one thing. Go to one society. When you're looking around, I mean, by all means, if you want to go to more, go to more. All the best for you. And don't just go for one, go for many. But have in your mind, don't have this idea that, oh yeah, I will just go to all of them. Oh yeah, I'll go to all 3 of them. Because a lot of the times you won't. I want you to do something, no matter what. go to one society. Go to one society. It doesn't matter if it's good or not so good. I want you to go to it. I want you to make sure you go to it. So when you go into the open fair, have in your mind that like you're looking around and you're thinking like, sorry, there was a security guard there. I think he's looking in my direction. I'm scared he's gonna kick me out, but we're gonna push through. Bring a piece of paper, write it down in your phone, do whatever you have to do, but make sure you go to that society. And then when you write it down, don't start thinking like, oh, it's probably not going to be that fun, it's probably not going to be that interesting, or I'm tired, or no, actually go to it. Follow through with it. Because believe me, sometimes if you don't go to it, if you don't make that effort for yourself to actually go through it on that day, you'll probably never go to a society for the rest of the year. So that's one piece of advice. Make sure you actually go to a society. Second piece of advice, which continues on from the first one, is consistently go to a society. And it also ties into the fact that try and pick societies that occur on a weekly or a regular basis. So a lot of the times when you go to a taster session at university, it's going to be packed. It's a bit like lectures in the same way that, you know, like lectures, those who know will know that like at the start of the semester it's quite busy, but then as the semester wears on, there's less and less people attending lectures. And it's a bit like that with societies. Like the taster days are like the full glory of the society. But then as the weeks go on, as exams come on and things of this nature, a lot of people stop going to it, and there's only like a few, basically only the regulars go after a while. Only the people who are always going to go to that society kind of go, not all the time, obviously give and take, but just as a general rule of thumb. But my point I'm trying to make with this is that oftentimes, A, you're not going to make friends on the taster day because there's going to be so many different people, or B, you are going to make friends on the taster day, but oftentimes you will never see those people again. Now, I'm not trying to discourage you from going, because sometimes you actually will, like, you know, meet someone really interesting. But a lot of the times, like, you'll find that you might meet someone, but then the next time you go to a society, those people aren't there. So the reason why I say go to a society consistently is because a lot of people, they kind of like go to a society, they don't make a friend, they go like one more time, and then they kind of like give up going to the society. I don't think you should do that, because a lot of the friends I made were friends that like I kind of saw like on like the taster day, and then the next time I didn't speak to them, the next time I didn't speak to them, like 4th, 6th time I haven't spoken to them, but then like on the 7th time I went there, we finally got speaking, and like you make really good friends. Like, so that's one thing. So one thing is that it takes a while for you to kind of like actually make a friend. It's not like you go to the society and like you instantly start speaking to people. Even if you are quite extroverted, oftentimes it's going to be that consistency. It's going to be seeing them again and again that actually kind of like solidifies the friendship. Because if you think about it, if you go to the society, then really and truly you only have like the first like 5 minutes when you're waiting outside the classroom or whatever it is to actually kind of like speak to them. Because once you get into the society and you start doing things, even if it's like a sports, you're actually doing the sports, you're not actually speaking to people. Most of the time it's like the 5 minutes before, the 5 minutes at the ending where you actually kind of get to socialize. So this kind of ties into another point. You make friends, I personally feel that you make friends by like consistency. Like, so there are lots of societies out there, and I'm not discouraging you from going to these societies, but like a lot of the times they're like the quote unquote like culture society. So like at Queen Mary, they have like the Pakistani society, the Indian society, they'll have like the French society, the Spanish society, the this society. And it's not just the culture societies, but it's just, or like the physics society, for instance, or the math society. Those societies are good. I'm not saying don't go to them, but the problem I have, the problem with them is that the way they do it, it's not like a weekly thing. It's like you do an outing. So like they'll plan like this really fun trip that they'll do like bowling or a night out, and you all go out to a restaurant, but it's not a consistent thing. Like it's like whoever kind of comes just kind of comes to the thing. So when you go out, that's the first time you're meeting those people for the first time. And sometimes like when you go out and it's the first time you're meeting with those people, as opposed to you've already met and then you can go out, it's a lot harder to make friends. Oftentimes you won't end up speaking to people. You need that consistency, that seeing them again and again. And it's for that reason I recommend the societies like the societies that meet weekly. So for instance, I went to the boxing society. I didn't go to debate society that often, but like the debate society for for example, I'm not advocating those two societies, but I'm saying because those societies meet every week, it was so much easier for me to make friends than and because it's like in a regular place as well, like oftentimes it's in uni or it's in like the sports center or whatever. When it's like we're going to meet out, just say for like go-karting, then it's kind of like everyone kind of like makes their way to the event independently, like outside uni. So it's a lot harder to make friends, whilst like on uni it's just a lot easier, because then like you see when it's like 8 o'clock for like, sorry, not 8 o'clock, like 6 o'clock, 6:30 for the debate society, you see people kind of like walking into the thing, and you kind of see them, and you see them next week, and it's just a lot easier. I don't think I articulated that as properly as the first point, but the second point is consistently go to societies, because often people who you don't even talk to on the first couple of sessions will become your friends later down the line, and you don't want to miss out on those friendships. So don't give up on those, and often to reap the benefits of a society is to go to it consistently, and the way and go to a society, and to do that you need to go to a society that happens on a consistent basis. So like a weekly thing, you know, it's like a weekly thing. It's not like a one time, once a month kind of like go out, because then if you think about it, then even if you do make friends on that one outing, then like if you do something again, because these are paid events, like you got paid for them, right? So it's like one night they do go-karting, the next night they do like they go out to dinner. You have to pay for each of these events, and often they're expensive, and often people will like do one and then they won't do the other. Whereas like if you do something like the Debate Society, for instance, like you don't have to pay for each event. So like people come back and back and back and back. It's not like you can pick and choose it, if that kind of makes sense. So consistency, so actually going to society and consistently. Number 3, it links back into this idea of consistency, is having a routine around uni. Now, I'm going to tell you about my friend Bogdad. So me and my friend Bogdad, we're very good friends, but we actually met at a kebab shop. It's a funny story. It's a funny story for another time. It's a bit romantic actually. So we met at a kebab shop for like one day, and we had lunch, and it was amazing, and I thought he was really cool because he sounded really intelligent. But then after that we kind of didn't speak for like 2 months. Kind of thought like it was nice at first, but I kind of thought like I'd kind of like lost that friendship that I kind of made. But then one time I saw him in the library, and then he was like, "Oh, you remember me, Bogdad?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do remember you." But then I started seeing him in the gym. And then I noticed that he comes to the gym the same time I come to the gym. And he goes to the library the same time I come to the library. So I think having a routine around uni, a repeatable routine when you're at the same places at the same times allows you to meet different people. So say for example, if you have a gym at university and you go to the gym every day at 9 o'clock, you're going to start seeing the same people in the gym at 9 o'clock every single day. So for instance, in first year, I think 9 to 11 was gym. I went to gym like 9 to 11 in first year, and I would see the same people again and again and again on the Monday, or whenever it is I went. And then I'd maybe go to like the cafe, or I'd maybe go to the library, or I would go to the Curve, which is like the social, it's like the canteen, it's like where everyone gets their lunch. And then you start seeing the same kind of people. When I went into the library and you sit in the same place, you see the same people sitting in the same place. Like everyone kind of like has a spot in the library that they like to chill. Or in the cafe, it's the same thing. You're going to start seeing the same people. And it's that consistency, it's that seeing everyone again and again that makes it easier for you to go and talk to them. It also allows you to meet new people without actually doing anything, because you need to do your routine for like gym and for studying. So like if you go to the library, like you have to study, right? So you're not proactively planning something, right? You know, like sometimes to maintain or to make a friendship for like these societies, for instance, you got to make time. Sometimes you might not always have that time to do. So it's a nice way to make friends without actually putting any effort. All you have to do is make a routine and do it the same time every day. That's how me and Bogdad became really good friends, because we started seeing each other all the time, because he always used to go to the same place I used to go, which was the first floor in the library. If you've been watching my YouTube channel, you see it around. I used to love going there in the winter. Now I like going to the top floor, but I go to the second floor now, and I always saw him. He always sat in the same place. So whenever I'd walk past at like 11 to 1 was kind of like the time I spent in the library back in first year after I got like a coffee or something after my workout, and I'd always see him. And then because I got to see him again and again and again, we got to solidify our friendship. We went out a few times, but that's like the icing on top of the cake. Do you get me? That's like, you're not gonna go out so many times for you to build a solid friendship like that. It's a bit like your friendships at school. You were friends with people at school not because you went out with them all the time, because you'd spent science lessons together every Monday together, right? So it's a bit like that. So consistently have a routine. Have a routine where you come into uni. I personally don't recommend, don't do this thing where people like, they just come into the lecture and the lecture changes all the time. And then after the lecture, they go home, because you're not going to. If you can, I hope you do, and I hope you do make friends. But just think about it. Some people, like, they come into uni just for the lectures, and then after that they go home. Number one, the lectures change like all the time, so there's no routine, there's no repeatability to it. And also, like, in lectures, ask anyone who go to uni, you're not going to be able to speak to people in lectures. Oftentimes you'll sit by yourself. Like, as many people that I know, I'm not trying to show off, but as many people that I know, sometimes when I come into lectures, I literally just sit by yourself. Most of the times you're late to lectures and you just sit in like a seat in the corner and you can't even see the board, let alone talk to people. A lot of the times in lectures, like, people are already sitting down in their groups and you're a bit shy to kind of like go up to them and speak to them. And then once the lecture starts, it's really hard to speak to people. And then a lot of the times you'll end up just getting shy, or even worse, like, you'll end up just going on your phone. The amount of people I see and I've done this myself, who come into lectures and like on the break, like, so like you get a 5-minute in between the 2 hours, like there's like a break, and like you think that people will talk to each other and kind of make new friends, but it's not true. You just kind of like go on your phone. So I'm not trying to say don't do that. Obviously, if you can make friends in lectures, then do so. But if you are trying to make friends, don't just do this thing where like, oh, I just come into the lecture. No, if your lecture starts at like 9 o'clock every day, whatever it is, or you have a lecture like once a week, say like, okay, the lecture starts at like 1 o'clock, okay, but every day I'm going to go to the gym at like 9 o'clock. Or even, maybe it's not just gym, you have to analyze what you can do in your own life. Maybe it's like you like getting coffee, so you go to like your university coffee shop every day at like 9 o'clock to get your daily coffee, and maybe like you sit down, you do half an hour's worth of work, or it doesn't even have to be work, like you sit down, you just read your book. You're gonna start seeing the same people every single day, and you're gonna start making friends with them. Or maybe instead of going home to do work, I know some people say like, oh, I like doing my work when I go home. Maybe just do a little bit of work in your library, like every day. So the lectures at, just say for example, like 2 to 4, so then at 1 o'clock every day you're going to do half an hour's worth of work, where maybe you're just like reading over the lecture notes, or maybe it's half an hour afterwards at the same time every day. It could be anything. Maybe it's like you're going to get lunch from 12 to 1 every single day, so you see the same people in the canteen. Canteen's a great place to make friends, because oftentimes people are eating by themselves and you can kind of like just go up to them and say, hi, how are you? And that brings me to my fourth point, which is be proactive. Is actually go up to people and make friends. I used to watch this guy, I'll put his link somewhere there, but he used to say like, don't worry, like everyone's in the same boat when you come to uni. Everyone's making friends. No one knows anyone. If you come on uni on the first week and you see people clustered together, oftentimes they've literally just met 20 minutes before you. So go up to people, introduce yourself. Don't worry about it not looking cool, or you looking quote unquote lame, because these social constructs that existed in high school don't really exist anymore. This idea of who's cool and who's this and that, or if I was to use the local slang, who's moist and who's wet and who's certy fam. That's probably going to go viral and people are going to start making fun of me on the internet. But they don't exist anymore. There's no who's cool, who's that really and truly. And I'm not just saying that. I'm saying that because it's the actual truth. Oftentimes the quote-unquote cool people are just the people who come into lectures all the time, only because they're like always there, and they're kind of like engaged with the lecturer, and they're not just like sitting in the back, like not talking to anyone. So oftentimes those are even the cool kids, the quote unquote cool kids. So you have to go up and you have to go speak to people. Arian, who you know on my videos, who most of you will know, I literally went up to him and I was like, hi, my name's Arian. Not hi, my name's Arian. Hi, my name's Jericho. How are you? Because I thought you looked like a pretty nice guy. And then we've been friends ever since. Like, we've been going to Pizza Room, and like we've went out to London a few times and things like that. So you have to actually go out up to people and literally say, hi, how are you? Because one of those people are literally going to be the friend, is going to be the friend you spend the rest of your uni life with. And don't worry if like you go up to people and it doesn't work. Most of the times it isn't going to work. I went up to so many people, I was like, hi, how are you? My name's this and that. And I never spoke to those people again. It's fine, but that is ultimately how you're going to make friends. Like, I can say all this like consistency and go to societies, but ultimately if you don't go up to people and you don't introduce yourself, you're not going to make friends. And don't worry about it, because everyone's shy, everyone's nervous, everyone's in the same boat, and everyone wants to make friends, guys. Don't think like, oh, I don't want to go speak to him because maybe like he's too cool and he doesn't want to speak to me. Don't think like that, because I promise you 100% of the time they're just shy as well. They want someone to make the first move. So you have to be proactive. You actually have to go and talk to people, and people want you to talk to them. It's not a time for being shy, because like in school you wouldn't go and talk to people because like they'd be in their groups maybe, right? Well, I did anyway. Like there was just some people you don't speak to. But think about it now. In university, you're all adults. You're all adults. You all pay for your own food. You all take the bus and the train to get here. Some people are working. You're adults. The way adults, even in like your work environments, right? Like in your work environments, like when I was going to prep, is a bit of a tangent, and I hope my phone doesn't cut off. But when I was going to prep, like my boss told me to make sure you say good morning to everyone when you come in. And I just thought that was a bit strange, because whenever I was going to school, you wouldn't just like say good morning to everyone and everyone. Like it was just like, it was so nice as well. Like I just went up to the baristas, to the people at the store. I was like, good morning, how are you? How was your weekend? Things like that. And I thought that was really nice compared to at school, when like you would never you just never talk to certain people. So in university, it's a bit like that. Talk to people, go up to people. Don't worry about these things. Everyone's in the same boat. The other YouTuber who I was talking about, he articulated this point really well, maybe a bit more than I did. But yeah, so that's point number 4.